Hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Burrito Wallace. I am a family and parent educator with Wallace Family Ministry, and we have been going on a love dare journey for your marriages or relationship, and we are on day 32 of day 40 of the love dare journey. So that should be so encouraging. So we are going to hop right in, and today is love meets sexual needs. So the husband must fulfill his duty to his wife, and likewise also the wife to her husband. 1 Corinthians 7:3. In marriage, romance is meant to thrive, and vibrantly flourish. Both the Old and New Testament commend the beauty of sexual love within the context of matrimony. The Song of Solomon, for example, though frequently misunderstood as nothing more than an allegory about God's passion for his people, is also a beautiful love story. It describes sexual acts between a husband and a wife in beautiful, poetic detail, showing us how each spouse can passionately love and cherish the other in their romantic relationship. In some of his other writings, Solomon said, "Let your fountain be blessed and rejoice with the wife of your youth. As a loving deer and a graceful doe, let her breast satisfy you at all times and always be enraptured with her love." Proverbs 5:18 and 19. Okay. Words like these, blessed, rejoice, satisfy, enraptured, vividly remind us that sexual intimacy is one of God's greatest wedding gifts, to be fully enjoyed on a consistent basis as husband and wife. It is all part of celebrating what God has so graciously given to us in each other, the purity of being naked and unashamed, Genesis 2:25, within the covenant of our lifelong commitment. Through the pleasure of physical intimacy, we experience a strengthening of our relational, emotional, and spiritual intimacy as well. Faithful love transitions into overwhelming joy, resulting in a deep, abiding peace that no other sexual relationship outside of marriage can ever produce. As part of our married union, sex has no cost, no guilt, and no regrets. This is why God approves of only one sexual relationship, one man and one woman who are married to one another, and why he has placed around it such loving, protective boundaries. By proclaiming that marriage is to be held in honor among all and the marriage bed is to be undefiled. Hebrews 13:4. God provides us with the only way to protect our moral purity. Honor our spouse faithfully and keep our sexual experiences glorifying to him. He is not limiting our enjoyment, but protecting it and us. But we are weak, affected by our past, deceived by our culture, tempted by unholy desires. Some Christians secretly view sex in their marriages as dirty or shameful. Some are haunted and weighed down by memories of immorality and adultery in their past. Some have given into the destruction undertow of pornography, fueling their lusts with man-made sinful alternatives to the pure, unpolluted, replenishing experience God designed our sexual oneness to be. As a result, many husbands and wives have grown distant from each other, allowing staleness to set in, pushing each other away, withholding something precious that rightly and exclusively belongs to their spouse. God established marriage with a one flesh mentality. The wife does not have authority over her own body, but the husband does. And likewise, also the husband does not have authority over his own body, but the wife does. 1 Corinthians 7:4. You are one and belong to each other. You are the sole person on the face of the earth called and designated by God to meet your spouse's sexual needs. So stop depriving one another, the Bible warns, except by agreement 4 times, so that you may devote yourselves to prayer and come together again, so that Satan will not tempt you because of your lack of self-control. 1 Corinthians 7:5. If your spouse comes knocking and requesting physical intimacy, your love should open the door and welcome them in. Sex, or the withholding of it, is not to be used as a weapon or bargaining chip. The heart of marriage is one of giving ourselves to each other to meet the other's needs. You have been bought with a price. 1 Corinthians 6:20. God set his affections on you and has gone to every length to draw you into desiring him. Now it's your turn to pay the loving price to win the heart of your mate. Sex is one God-given opportunity to practice what the love dare entails. All right? But in reality, it is even more than that. The greatest celebration of all time will occur when those who know and love Jesus Christ enter heaven to be with him forever. It'll be the consummation of our covenant of salvation when the bride of Christ, the church, will finally be with her beloved bridegroom. Though heaven is not described as being sexual, God gives us a small taste of heavenly joy through the regular physical consummation of the covenant between a husband and a wife. The temporary joy we feel during sexual climax should cause us to worship God with hope and anticipation of the greater and purer joys that will forever be ours in heaven. So each time you consummate your sacred relationship, sorry, I don't know what my deal was. I couldn't say that word. As husband and wife, remember that your union is a celebration of your marital intimacy, the grand finale of your mutual love, right? Even more importantly, it is for the beautiful glory of your holy God. Worship him with your oneness for what he does, what he's done, and for the eternal joy that's soon to come, okay? So the dare today is, I don't think we need to discuss that anymore, right? I just made me think of something. So sometimes if I'm not feeling like my husband and I are bonding, like we're not connecting in other ways, like I will say, like it's hard for me to want to connect in that way because I need connection in another way, you know, in deeper ways as well. So my thing is that I learned something in reading this, is that like if you connect in that way, if you agree, or if you're like me where you're like, hey, it's hard for me to connect that way when I'm not getting any connection. But if you remember, let's go back. I'm not sure exactly where it was. Oh, through the pleasure of physical intimacy, we experience a greater strengthening of our relational, emotional, and spiritual intimacy as well. So, not that I learned it, but I was reminded of, because I've done this study before, and I was reminded of having that relationship with your spouse, especially if you are a wife watching this, then you will get that connection back by doing that. You'll feel more spiritually connected. You'll be more emotionally connected. You'll be more, what was the other one that they said? Relationally connected. So saying that you're not receiving those things like I have, or feeling that way, that's a valid feeling. I felt that way, and that's why I wanted to bring it up, because you can say like, hey, I'm not feeling connected in other ways, so it's hard for me to give that in connection, or to connect that way when I'm not getting my needs met. But remember, we need to act selflessly and give first, and what we get in return is even greater. And see, like if you're giving this part of yourself to your husband, and obviously that should be pleasurable for you as well. And if you're giving that to your spouse, you're going to get those things in return. So there's a lot that you have to gain here by doing this, right? So the dare today is, if at all possible, try to initiate sex with your husband or wife today. Do this in a way that honors what your spouse has told you or implied to you about what they need from you sexually. Ask God to make this enjoyable for both of you, as well as a path to greater intimacy, okay? And God will absolutely bless that. So I can't wait to see you tomorrow for day 33 of the Love Dare. And make sure, if you haven't yet, check out the Love Dare for Parents. You can start at day 1. And you can start these anytime, guys. You can pick up. I'm not going to remove them. I'm going to leave them out on YouTube, on my channel, because I believe that God has led me to, practice teaching some more in this way as I start out in my ministry. I've taught a little bit on Facebook before. And then I took a bit of a break, and then I started this YouTube channel. I started teaching these love dares by Stephen and Alex Kendrick. So I believe it's because somebody needs to hear a message, and whether it's one person or 50 people, I don't really care. Or if it's just a specific day that they really need to hear, or just really going through and doing these dares, I'm leaving them on here because you never know when the person who needs to see them or who sees a video is going to tune in. So I'm going to leave them here. You can refer back to them. You can start at day one. You can hop around. But I encourage you to do both the studies from beginning to end, because you will see the fruit and you'll see the development take place in your life. So make sure you subscribe to my channel. Make sure you like me and share me with your friends. I love you guys, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. God bless and take care.